Today we're talking about baby food. Bland, mushy, and devoid of joy, these meals offer some of the last-ditch nutrition available in the inevitable nuclear fallout. Can they be salvaged with a well-placed hot sauce? For my sake, I hope so. Let's find out. Now, baby food, notoriously bland, mostly because children have very sensitive palates and strong flavors are intolerable to them. As you get older, taste buds get a little less sensitive and then you can tolerate more intricate flavors as well as more heat generally. So even if you try a hot sauce young and it's overwhelming, as you get older, don't be afraid to revisit that because palate may have changed considerably. Now we're starting things off with mac and cheese, a relatively safe option. I think pretty difficult to get this wrong. Even if it's bland, it should be pretty salvageable. And I already know the secret to delicious mac and cheese. So yeah, it's bland, but it does have pretty much what you'd expect in terms of basic flavor profile, minus any hint of salt. Creaminess is okay, plenty of fat in there. So it should be able to cut whatever you put in there in terms of acidity or heat. But to make delicious mac and cheese, you just truffle it. You just truffle it up. If you don't know what truffles are outside of the context of chocolate, they are a mushroom. Hit popularity in the last, 10 years is kind of the big boom of the truffle craze. And one of my favorite hot sauces to come out of it, which is very polarizing. People either love this sauce or hate it. Even those who like truffle, is truff. This is the hotter version, but making a mac and cheese, the spicy truffle version, expect is going to work out. Absolutely. That's why we started with that one. Easy pick. I could get through the apocalypse eating that. The Again, as long as there's enough fat in there, it's really going to complement the heat and any acidity that you bring. Truffle itself, the truff hot sauce, not terribly acidic. It's not a vinegar forward sauce. So it really blends with the creaminess of the cheese and turns that into as far as on the spectrum of truffle mac and cheese, not anywhere near the top of the list, but elevating from what was otherwise a completely bland mac and cheese, the addition of truffle, heat, and some of the other flavors. A little bit of salt, but yeah, we're in tolerable territory now. Now we move on to pasta stars in meat sauce. Very appetizing. So some sort of red pasta sauce. So tomato, you're going to get some acidity from that. Obviously, we're going to assume this is extremely bland, but I feel like we've definitely downgraded here from the mac and cheese. It's sure it's bland, but it's bland in a way where it doesn't even taste like what you would expect those ingredients to taste like, even if they had no seasonings. Brings in kind of some cardboard flavor. So the pasta tastes mostly like water. There's a hint of tomato in that. And then the beef on that second bite, getting the actual flavor of beef a little bit in there. Now we got to put on our thinking caps a little more than the first one. Let me see what we can do. We're going to try. The reason it's a mystery bottle here is because the original bottle is massive, but this is Marie Sharp's habanero sauce. This is from Belize. And I think my only concern here is it may add a little too much to the acidity for something that's already tomato. But Western cooking, you tend to compound flavor compounds and stack them. So we'll see. Yeah, I don't think that's it. The only thing Marie Sharps is doing here, which is still a welcome break, is it's masking the flavor of the dish. It certainly doesn't seem to complement it in any way, so much as give you a new flavor that's better. which isn't really what we're looking for a sauce pairing. I'm gonna keep looking. We try 30 Dicks. A lot of red pasta sauces are sweetened, and this is a sweeter hot sauce. It is a little more barbecuey. Might be a little too sweet in the wrong way. I'll give that a try. That I actually think works much better. It's mostly a like fruit and warm spices, cinnamon, clove, that sort of thing. It does pair very well, I think, from the it's kind of got the onion, salt, garlic, all the things that the sauce is missing as far as basic spices. And then the sweetness really complements the meat and is a little more reminiscent of like a kind of a sweeter red meat sauce. That said, it certainly has its barbecue element, which is a little different, but I actually think it works well there in that it's a unique dish that the sauce complements, not just trying to recreate an existing dish. So yeah, that's a you find yourself stuck with pasta stars. 30 Dicks is a pretty solid choice there. Now we move on to chicken and yellow rice. Now, yellow rice, normally very flavorful. The only presence of turmeric here is color extract, which isn't surprising. Not many toddlers are reaching for turmeric, I don't think. But I feel like this might be a difficult one to match. Oof. Chicken. So yeah, the rice is it's like unseasoned, extremely overcooked rice, which makes sense. And yeah, the chicken, dry, bland, tastes a lot like water. There's just really not much to work with there. Now, it's supposed to have turmeric in it. Let's see if we can add some back in. See if that helps. And that brings us to Speedy's Barbados Ghost Sauce. It's got some turmeric, some mustard, paprika. Hopefully this brings the kind of the right spice combination to get us somewhere in the ballpark of yellow rice. And much more difficult to pair things when you absolutely no flavor to work with. Yeah, that's still. Ooh, that ghost pepper right to the back of the throat. No, that's still not it. Um, Similar to Marie Sharp's on the last one, it's very much overriding anything that's already there, not as much complementing it. The flavors aren't unwelcome, but the mustard tone is just too loud relative to anything else going on. We're going to keep looking. What I really think this needs is just some form of salt. And that brings me to Louisiana brand hot sauce. This is one of the older Louisiana style hot sauces. From what I recall, it's very salty relative to any of the others. Give that one a whirl. I do feel like something as simple as salt could pull out some of the flavors that are already in here a little better. That'll do the trick. Yeah, there's a like I said, that's one of the saltiest hot sauces I think I've ever had, which is a little overwhelming depending on what you're using it on. But in this case, where some of the base ingredients are there, they're just in such small quantities and completely without any salt, that the simple addition of salt is kind of what this needed. And then the vinegar isn't overbearing. Louisiana sauces are one of the kind of just straight vinegar to the face sauce styles. And I mean, certainly throttle the quantity appropriately, but it's not completely overwhelming in this case. And now we're on to cheese ravioli in tomato sauce. Interestingly, all of these have carrots as at least a component of the sides. I don't know if this is a World War II era recipe list and we're British pilots, but heavy on the carrots. Anyway, cheese ravioli. All right, so again, tomato, already going to have some acidity. The, I think, distinction between this and the star pasta, even though they're both tomato sauces, is the cheese, obviously, which is going to bring more fat. You should therefore be able to cut some of that acidity and heat, depending on what you're adding in here. A couple thoughts on things I want to try here. One is, one of the tastiest things to put on pizza, which tomato plus cheese, is hot honey. So we're going to give that a shot. Well, Mike's hot honey. There are obviously plenty of brands of hot honey. That's just the one I happen to have with me. I completely forgot to try this without anything. I can already tell that's going to be painful. I don't know what was wrong with that particular ravioli, but it's probably wrong with all these particular raviolis. I think it's the pasta. It could be the cheese. Very wet cardboard. Yes, bland tomato at the very end. I don't taste anything resembling cheese, but so maybe that's where that strange flavor is coming from. Obviously bland, no salt. Yeah, that wasn't it. I don't even know if that was an improvement from on its own. Because, well, it may be delicious on pizza. Pizza uses actual cheese. And I'm sure if I look on the label, it says something about cheese in there, but they're lying to you. So we're going to try something else. Now, a couple options here I wanted to try out from Melinda's. But we're going to start with, again, I should probably just give up on the pizza angle since this tastes nothing like pizza in any way. Just going for shared ingredients here, but crushed red pepper sauce, specifically for pizza. Give that a shot. I don't remember liking it tremendously, but give them a redemption round here on still not what it's intended for. That one's actually not bad. I had a lot in that one particular bite, so the vinegar came through a little strong, but it's bringing the right flavor profile to it that's really kind of fleshing out that tomato sauce, potentially just replacing the sauce that's in there and giving it an actual pasta taste to it. Now, Melinda's green sauce, I truly have no idea what this is supposed to be. It's very pesto-esque, which again, I also think could work very well here. Interestingly, as distinctive a flavor as this is, it can't overpower the wet cardboard except in egregious quantities. So I think in this case, we're going to go with, tell you what, we'll make this a Melinda's around and see if the fire roasted garlic is better or worse than the pizza sauce. But I think that tang from the kind of vinegar forwardness of the pizza sauce is the only thing that's mitigating our mystery wet cardboard flavor. Yeah, I'm going to stick with the pizza sauce on that one. This one's very similar. It's just not as tangy, which is, I think, the saving grace of that sauce. So, I don't know if I'd say it's good with that sauce on it, but it's far more palatable than it otherwise would have been. Here we are at the end of the line. Mashed potatoes and gravy with roasted chicken. Now, I'm not a mashed potatoes and gravy enjoyer normally anyway. I don't know if that means I'm going to be less disappointed or more disgusted, but here goes. There's no part about that is okay. very, very gritty mashed potatoes. No flavor, but that's kind of the entering argument here. And then the chicken tastes exclusively like water. It is so waterlogged. Let's see if I can just isolate the gravy. Yeah, the gravy itself is actually carrying more of the chicken flavor than the chicken is. But yikes, that is rough. Ooh, how do we fix it? How would I fix normal mashed potatoes? What, salt, pepper, garlic. Theoretically, that gravy is adding fat that'll help cut heat. So maybe we go nuclear. Bring in some torchbearer. This will give plenty of garlic and a decent kick of pepper. Might be so hot that it just kind of overpowers everything. Just use a little bit and mix it in, but so it's a vast improvement. I don't feel like it's melding with much of what's in there, so much as, like I said, nuking it. But so we're going to keep looking. We can come back to that one. Wouldn't be too upset if that's the ruling on it, but it is kind of just steamrolling the whole thing. Let's see what else we can find. Let's try some heartbeat cap sauce. Why? I don't think I could tell you. It's a little smoky. Normally have smoky mashed potatoes. No. But it needs something else than just garlic and salt. So I think that plays with the chicken a little better. There's nothing for the potatoes themselves or the gravy, really. I can see where you would want maybe a little smoky flavor in the gravy. That's not necessarily unwelcome, but I don't know that I would say it was better or worse than the garlic reaper. Honestly, what I think would work, maybe even the best here, is Dirty Dicks again. I get a sweet barbecue chicken mashed potato thing going on. Where to use that one? I make the rules up as I go, so it's not like I can't, but I'm going to keep looking. By that token, the truff would also probably be perfectly acceptable, mostly on account of the pairing well with the creamy texture that's supposed to be there, the gritty texture that is there. But another thing that pairs pretty well with creamy textured things is the Melendez Ghost Pepper Wing Sauce. We'll give that a little try. Nah, I'm just getting heat from that. Let's bring in heat in the. I appreciate that they use the white vinegar, so it's not as vinegar forward, but I don't feel there's enough salt and/or pepper to offset what's in there. So you know what? We're gonna break the wool we just imagined up, and we're gonna try some Dirty Dicks on it. I honestly think probably even better than what we used it on before. This is where it's gonna salvage things a bit. Yeah, that just covers a world of sins because it's now turned into mashed potatoes on the side of your barbecue chicken at a barbecue place, right? So much better. A little fruitiness to it. And again, that cinnamon and the spices doing a lot of heavy lifting for salvaging the flavor profile. So I'm going to double down on Dirty Dicks. Wow, there's a alliteration for you. And there you have it. I hope the apocalypse is kinder to us than Gerber meals, but should you find yourself in that situation, you have some input on how not to die from starvation, from sparing yourself the pain. Honestly, the mashed potatoes, though, unless you have something for it, just go out a week sooner. I don't know what to tell you. And that's a wrap. There are other gourmet pairings you would like to see, whether serious or not so serious. Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this content, please consider subscribing. I'll see you all next time. Still not what it's intended for.